The Queen, I think, would have said, keep calm and carry on, stay
Mm.
above the fray, ignore the noise. But this is a completely different world. And I don't think they would have put Queen Elizabeth in this position. This is the type of position we saw them put Princess Diana in.
Private hospital where the Princess of Wales had abdominal surgery has launched an investigation following claims her confidentiality was breached while she was a patient. It said that at least one staff member at London Clinic was caught trying to access her notes. Here's Talk TV's royal editor, Sarah Hewson.
It has been alleged that at least one staff member at the London clinic tried to access the Princess of Wales's private medical records. Now, the London clinic have said that anyone, no matter what their status or position, is entitled to medical confidentiality. And if this is true, it would be an incredibly serious breach of privacy. In fact, it is a criminal offence, and the Information Commissioner's Office has now said it has launched a review. We don't know the exact circumstances of this. Kensington Palace saying that it is a matter for the London clinic. But given this is a clinic that prides itself on discretion, the privacy of its patients, having treated members of the royal family, the Queen, Prince Philip, Princess Margaret, former prime ministers, Clement Attlee, for example, John F. Kennedy was treated there. David Cameron, the former prime minister and foreign secretary, was born at this hospital. It will send shockwaves through the hospital, and it is extremely concerning development in what has been an extremely distressing few months for the royal family.
That's very well put there by Sarah Hewson. Kinsey Schofield is a royal reporter, host of the To Die For podcast, regular on this programme. Morning, Kinsey.
Good to hear your voice.
This is an allegation, Kinsey, still at this point, and so we don't know if it's true. But I wonder if one way of thinking about it, it might not be that surprising considering just how crazy people have gone on the subject of Kate's health.
I think we've talked about this over the last few days, that kind of the social media chaos jeopardizes not only their safety, but their private information. And can I tell you something I saw last week? There's an influencer, she's a Southern California influencer, and she kind of rose to fame through the Johnny Depp trial, but she also has been getting political, and she does do a little bit of royal commentary. And she was pushing some of those conspiracy theories that were just kind of ugly about Catherine. Well, last week she posted on her Instagram that she spoke to an employee of the hospital, and she wanted to formally apologize to the Princess of Wales after receiving the information she received from the hospital. This is a user with over 1 million subscribers that, after this news broke, went private on her Instagram. So I wonder if these two instances are related to each other, because, and also, why go private? You've got 1 million followers. Somebody's going to share something. But I do wonder if these two instances are related, because at the time that I saw that, I thought, what human being would jeopardize their job to give some influencer in Southern California a scoop like this?
Yeah, and even if they've not gone that far, it strikes me that it's not surprising in the sense that people just seem to have lost their minds about this, haven't they? That we were looking yesterday through social media, kind of normally sensible people, semi-sensible people saying, "Well, I've looked at this video; it's clearly not Kate. I wonder where Kate is. What's the conspiracy? I believe this, that, and the other." And it strikes me that if that's infecting everyone in this sort of strange sort of moral panic, that you could imagine people who work in a hospital who very much should know better thinking, well, I better find out what's going on because they've been infected by it.
Exactly. I mean, I can't believe the types of individuals I'm seeing jump on board of royal commentary today. I mean, reality stars here in the States, all of these people wanting to be involved in this conversation. And at the end of the day, it's all about a woman that was so ill. She asked for 3 months to recuperate, and no one had, the sense, no one had, I don't know, the courtesy to give her all she requested.
So what's the answer to this? Because one problem with the royal family is A, they move very slowly. B, they're faced with this very difficult thing that you can't address an invasion of privacy by invading your own privacy. So they'll feel that very keenly. I suspect William will be thinking, well, I'm not going to start dancing to the tune of these conspiracy theorists. And yet, they are public figures. They do have a public persona. They are active on social media. They are trying to shape the narrative about themselves. They are reality TV stars themselves in many respects. It's hard to know what they should do about this generally. I mean, There's talk about Easter Sunday and having her walking around so people can see her. But the problem with conspiracy theory, would that be enough, do you think?
Well, the worst part of that plan, unfortunately, I'm looking forward to seeing her, and I hope we do see her Easter Sunday. But the worst part of that plan are that both her and Prince William then step back until after April 17th because they want to take some time away with the children. So it's going to be a blink and you'll miss it moment, which will just rile up the gutter of the internet again. So I think that it's out of control. I wish I had a solution. I feel like there's no putting the genie back into the bottle. It's absolutely out of control.
Can you ignore the internet? I mean, I'm interested in this thought because there's various points definitely where the advice would be, it's just social media, it's just people in their basements, don't worry about it. But because so much of our news is consumed on social media, and as you say, a million strong influencer on social media might say things. These are effectively, these platforms taken together are huge. They're bigger than any radio station or TV station or newspaper. So can you ignore it?
Unfortunately, I don't think you can because we've been told over the last few years, since I covered the Trump campaign in 2016, and we were hammered throughout that fake news, fake news, fake news. So unfortunately, you have people like you've been talking about that question everything to a point that it's overkill. The Queen, I think, would have said, keep calm and carry on, stay above the fray, ignore the noise. But this is a completely different world. And I don't think they would have put Queen Elizabeth in this position. This is the type of position we saw them put Princess Diana in.
I also think the Queen was very different because ultimately she was aloof all her life, wasn't she? And these guys aren't. I mean, that's why it becomes a kind of paradox, because in order for the royal family to survive, they have to be relevant. And in order to be relevant, they've got to be online. But being online places them in the clutches of the world of conspiracy. And they can't defeat it. They're not big enough. Even they aren't big enough with their influence to defeat that, it would seem.
I agree. I mean, I think that what I initially thought, I wish they would just shut down on social media and punish people for, going absolutely insane. But the reality is that then those people are one step ahead. So I don't know. I mean, I wish I could give you some sort of strategy, some brilliant strategy that I'd come up with. But unfortunately, I'm sitting back looking at this going, how much longer can I do this? Because this is a little too chaotic for me. This story changing every single day and not knowing what the truth is.
Yeah, well, and the question is, how do they reveal the truth if they decide to do that? Kinsey, we don't have the answers, but the questions are very obvious, I think, and thank you for taking the time to pose them with us.
Thank you.
That's Kinsey Schofield, the royal reporter, host of the To Die For podcast. She hosts a podcast about the royals, and it's getting too chaotic even for her.